Hello students, in this video we will be recording the answers for the May 2019 computer science paper on the subject computational thinking, algorithms and programming, and I will be discussing the question number 1 in this video. So let us start. In the question number 1 we are given a scenario that an interview is conducted for a computer scientist and it is recorded on using computer and audio recording software. So it's an audio interview. Now how this audio recording is stored on the computer, that is the first part of the question. They are asking how sampling is used to store the audio recording. Now as we all understand, audio is nothing but it is a waveform in which the sound is getting recorded. Now whatever are the peaks and the drops, they have a amplitude. This we all understand that the peaks and the drops, they have a amplitude. So this is the amplitude of the signal. Now what we will do in sampling, at a fixed rate, after a fixed rate of time, after a fixed span of time, we will measure what is the amplitude of this signal. So say after some nanoseconds or after some milliseconds, we will take samples on this particular sound waves, and whatever is the amplitude at this level, suppose this is the level 0. So say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and say this is 6. So this way how the amplitude is changing, we will record this value, and whatever this number is, we will convert this into binary and store it in the our recording. So that is how the sampling is performed on the audio recordings. So at a fixed interval, we will measure the amplitude of the wave and we will store that binary number as a binary number, and that will become the sampling input that we have created. Now in continuation with the first question, we are given a second case where the same computer scientist, a second interview is being recorded. And now we want to increase the sampling frequency. Now first of all they are asking what is the sampling frequency. Sampling frequency is after how much time the wave will be measured. That is after how much time the amplitude will be measured. Suppose this is again I am drawing a wave here. Suppose I am measuring at a interval which is quite broad. So now I will be recording at a fixed interval where the sound wave is changing. So here I am recording for a larger gap between the two samples that I am taking. And suppose in another recording I am increasing the sampling frequency, that is for less amount of time I am taking more samples. So in this case, I will be able to measure even the slight change in the voice. When I am taking a broad sample, the slight changes in the sound are getting missed. But when I am taking a frequent sample, that is I am increasing the frequency of the sample, I will be noting down even a minute change in the amplitude of the frequency, and that is going to increase the quality of the audio, because whatever variations are happening, I am recording all of them. So if you have lesser sampling frequency, in that case you will create a sample in which less number of recordings will be there. Like in the first case, suppose I am taking a broad sample like this. Now I am not noting down this change in the frequency, and here suppose the amplitude is 1 and here it is 7. So first you will hear a sound of 1 for this much duration of time, and then you will hear a sound of 7 for this much duration. So it is going to create a very uneven kind of a sound. But if we reduce the time interval, that is we increase the frequency of the sample, then I am going to get a very pleasant and a very systematically moving sound in which I will not feel the jerks in the sound. So that way, if we increase the frequency of the sampling frequency, we will get a better quality audio. So let us look at the next part of the same question. In this, they are asking us that what is the effect of increasing the sampling frequency. Now in this particular question, we are given 4 choices and we have to select any 2 boxes. According to the marking scheme, if you will select 3 boxes, you will get only 1 mark, irrespective of whether it is whether 2 are correct or 1 is correct. But if you select any 3 boxes, you will get only 1 mark maximum. And so you have to be careful. You have to choose only 2 boxes, and as we have already discussed, that increasing the sampling frequency is going to increase the quality of your playback. So these 2 questions are regarding the file size. They are saying the file size of the recording will be smaller or file size of the recording will be larger. So one of the 2 can get selected. Similarly, they are saying quality of the playback will be better and the quality of the playback will be worse. So out of these 2, only 1 can get selected, and since if we are going to store more data, if the sampling frequency is going to be more, there are going to be more bits that we want to store, so the file size will become large. So you put a tick mark here. And then the quality of the playback of the digital recording will be better, because definitely if we are increasing the sampling size, we will record even a minute change in the sound, and therefore the quality of the playback will be better. So these 2 are the correct options. Now let us look at the B part of question number 1. In this, they are saying that the radio station uses a digital camera to take the photograph of the scientist, and now this photograph is saved as a bitmap image. Now they are asking how the bitmap images are represented in binary. Now what is a bitmap? Suppose we have this image. In this we have pixels. Okay. So each pixel represents 1 dot in the image. So how many pixels will be there per inch will depend on the resolution of the image. So there are small dots, and each dot represents the color at that particular point in the image. So if we are using how many colors are available in the bitmap, according to that, each pixel is represented by a number of bits. Suppose I am using 2 bits per pixel. Now how many colors I can support? Either the color can be 0, 0, or it can be 0, 1, or it can be 1, 0, or it can be 1, 1. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors if I am using 2 bits. And if I am using 4 bits, then how many colors are possible? With 4 bits, 16 combinations are possible. So 16 colors will become possible for us. 16 different colors will become possible. So as you increase the number of bits, according to that, the number of colors is going to increase. So in the bitmap, each pixel is represented in a binary number, and that number represents the color which is represented by that particular pixel. So this is what we have in this question. Now let us move to the next question. In the next question, it is asked why the computers represent the data in the binary form. The very simple answer to this question is that the computers represent the inside the computer, all the information is represented in the form of zeros and ones. And why this is so? Because the computer is made up of components that have only 2 states, like the transistors, logic gates, all of these components can have only two states of 0 and 1, and that is why everything inside the computer is represented by the zeros and ones. So this is the answer for this question. You will get 1 mark per bullet, and you have to write that the computers consist of transistors, switches and logic circuits, and these can have only two values, 0 or 1, or open and closed. Now if you just mention 0 and 1, you will not get any marks. So you have to mention the components of the computer, and just writing CPU will not satisfy. You will not get marks for that. So you have to write transistors, switches and logic gates, and then you have to tell these have only two states. Now coming to the last part of this question, in this they are asking to give one advantage and one disadvantage of the lossy compression when the image is stored on the website using a lossy compression. First of all, we have to understand what is lossy compression. In lossy compression, the actual information of the image is lost, and but the compressed size of the image will be very less. File size is less, but some information of the image is going to be lost, which cannot be retrieved. And in comparison to lossy compression, we have lossless compression, in which the original image can be retrieved at any time. So let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of the lossy compression. So in the lossy compression, the advantages are that the file size will get reduced or smaller, and it is easier to upload and download the image. It will take up less storage space. Then less data usage is there in case of mobile data. Then permanent reduction is there. Then disadvantages are that the quality of the image is reduced because the data is lost, and the reduction is permanent and we cannot reverse the reduction. So these are the disadvantages. Now in the question, you will get 1 mark for each bullet, but maximum you will get 2 marks for advantages and 2 marks for the disadvantages. This question is for the 4 marks. So let us see how many marks each question is for. So the first part that we have discussed, that is where you have to tell that what is sampling. The question is for 2 marks. So you have to explain the sampling is the fixed frequency at which the after a fixed interval of time, the sample is taken and stored as a binary value in the file. Then we have the sampling frequency question. What is meant by sampling frequency? So this question is for 1 marks. Then we have the question in which you are asked to pick the right choices when the sampling frequency is increased. This question is for 2 marks, and you will get 2 marks when you will stick on the correct boxes. And then how the bitmap is represented in binary. This is a 3 marks question. So you have to write in detail that how the bitmap images are represented, and in this you will be writing about the how each pixel is represented, then what are the color codes assigned to each pixel, and what is the coloring scheme, and what is the metadata, that is the coloring scheme, how it is stored with the file, and what are the other metadata elements that can be stored with the image files. Then we have to explain that why computers represent data in the binary form. So you have to tell there are 2 components, 1 mark for that, and then 1 mark is for writing that it stores zeros and ones, and these components can store only zeros and ones, and therefore it is binary. So both the points have to be discussed. And for this last question, we have 4 marks, and in this you have to give 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages to get full marks. So in the next video, I will be discussing the question number 2. Thank you very much.